Good evening, everybody. This is Newf Nukem here. Yes, back with another episode number 2, as a matter of fact, of Goofing with Newf. I know a lot of you. I know a lot of you guys in the chat I know a lot of you guys in the chat came out to watch my very first episode, and I can't tell you how important and amazing that was to me to get a little bit of support right off the get-go. So thank you. Yes, thank you so much for letting me know that you can hear me. Spider-Man356, thanks for showing up. Timothy Dixon, the indie gamer. We got Shizno Elite up in here. Who else have we got in here tonight? A few people standing by. Clement Obert. Clement, what's going on, brother? Yeah, we got a good group to start things off. I got some topics to get into tonight. Not all of them all that crazy, but maybe a few fluffy topics and all that stuff. Just let me know throughout the show if there's any audio issues. I'm hoping the mic should be fine here tonight, as long as my chair doesn't run over the cord, which seems to happen quite a bit. Just down on a little coffee right now, trying to get the sparks flying and get this show on the road. All that good stuff. So yeah, we're going to get right into the topics. Episode number 2, Goofing with Newf. Don't forget, later in the show, I'll have a special appearance by none other than Mr. Cletus himself. He will be joining us for questions with Cletus. But unlike last week, I'm not going to take like 500 questions. I'm going to have to try to keep it a little bit simpler. Might only take a select few. And especially, I suspect over time, some of those questions will probably be repeats. What is happening? UK Dazzers is in the house. The best moderator on the planet is here, guys. It is late in his neck of the woods. Late in a lot of people's neck of the woods. Where is everybody from, by the way, in the chat? I want to know, because I don't really know where all of you guys are from. I think Clement, I think you're like from France somewhere. I know UK Daz, he's in the UK. Indie gamer, I'm not sure if you're in the UK or if you're in Australia. So by all means, guys, let me know which time zone you're shouting at me from here. And, it's not easy for everybody to make the show, but I certainly appreciate those who have done it. Spider-Man, he's right here in Alberta with me. So making the show is a little bit easier for that gentleman. All right. So let's talk about, okay, we got England represented, UK here. Nice. UK Daz, I've never dipped so much. What are you dipping, dude? Tell me it's not your dick in the pudding. Yes, it's France. 4 a.m. in the morning, and Clement is up watching Goofing with Newf. That's incredible, man. That is some dedication right there. Thanks, man. Yeah, same time as me for me and Spider-Man. So right now it's just after 8 o'clock in Mountain Standard Time, since I'm in Alberta, Canada. Yeah, good old Canada. 3 a.m. cum sticks. Yeah, that just sounds nasty. All right, guys, let's get this show on the road. What has everybody been playing this week? What games have you been playing, or should I even ask that question? I'm sure it's Red Dead Redemption, and Red Dead Redemption 2. I have been playing that. But I'm not going to lie, the last couple of days, and I don't know if any of you guys ever go through this, but I've been having this bit of a funk. I can't get my head into the game the last few days, and I haven't been playing a lot of games. I've kind of been dipping and dabbling with stuff. I've been just kind of tired. My back's been acting up. I don't think it's surgery related, but it's probably from a whole lot of stuff. Months, and my back has kind of been really busy. I went out trying to play some sports, got back on the ice for the first time in a long time playing goaltender. That was a bit rough. So those things I think are taking its toll on my back. Timodos is in the chat. What is happening? My brother from down under. Yeah, Red Dead 2, Lego Harry Potter. Yeah, that's right. Lego, is a new version or a remastered version of the old ones, I think, just dropped. So I guess if you're a Harry Potter fan, that's of good news for those Lego Harry Potter people. And the new movie soon dropping here as well. The what do you call it? Fantastic Beasts and Griswold or Gruntwald or whatever the fuck they call it. I don't know. I'm not real keen on those movies, but that's out. And yes, I have been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I've actually been playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the remaster on PlayStation. Trying to go back to that campaign. I never did get the remaster. Just picked up the other day. It was cheap, so I figured I'd pick it up. Still don't have Black Ops 4 and do not intend to. And Little Nightmares. Been playing that on the Switch. Few different things, like I said, but I haven't really been hardcore into the game, and I'm in no rush to finish Red Dead Redemption 2. Game's going to take a ton of hours, and I'm pretty sure at some point I'm going to have a lot of downtime on my hands, and that game will definitely keep me busy throughout. I got just so much on the docket right now, for example. So Timodos has been playing Destiny 2. Yeah, I've seen you playing that a few times. Yeah, if you guys are on Xbox, you'll notice I haven't been on there too much. I haven't been really on any of the consoles lately that much, so all right, guys. Well, you did have a little bit of news dropping this week, obviously. Some of it's sort of big. Some of it's Not so big. I guess it really depends on your perspective. Big week though coming up for Xbox fans. Xbox XO. I think it's coming to us from New Mexico, or is it Mexico City? I do believe. So that's going to be quite interesting. I have a feeling that Microsoft is going to be dropping a bomb or two on us. Pardon the pun. Boom, boom, kaboom. That's right. They're going to be dropping some type of information. It just depends on how big it's going to be. We really don't know. BZ McNasty, what has happened? Bringing your nasty ass up to the show, brother. What's going on? Stinky is here. Stinking Corpse. Bonjour, c'est la vie. Je m'appelle Tony. All right. So yeah, the XO event. Now, guys, anything can happen here. I highly suspect we're going to see some tech. We're going to see some games. We might even see a studio acquisition. But I would just keep your, yeah, exactly, UK Dads. Just keep your expectations in check because we really don't know what we're going to see. I do think it is now is the time to show Crackdown, right? We've talked about it. Other podcasts have talked about it. If you're going to show it, now is the time. We're just several months out from starting a new year. That's one of the first big games on Microsoft's docket for 2019. And I think it's time to show us something. But at the same time, I suppose if it's not up to snuff, who knows? Perhaps you're better off just leaving it as it is, because, you know, any bad press at this point for Crackdown is not going to be good. You know what I mean? Because we're going to get that, well, it's been in development so long. Why is it like this, right? So, but yes, I would love to see it. I agree with you, BZ McNasty. Born Distracted, what's happening, brother? Thanks for stopping by, checking out the episode 2, guys, Goofing with Newf. So I definitely think Crackdown has potential. I definitely think there's something on the go with Rare. We may see more announcements that are related to Sea of Thieves, which seems to be holding a pretty decent audience ever since its launch, and that may be due to Game Pass. And some people hate Sea of Thieves, there's no question, but some people really love the game, right? I'm one of those people that was kind of on the fence. I mean, I like the game. It's not the be-all, end-all, but I definitely think there's a magic to Sea of Thieves that's hard to explain. If any of you guys have ever played Sea of Thieves, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. It's one of those games that, yeah, may be lacking content, but for some weird reason, it just sucks you in. You know what I mean? And you just kind of get lost in that world, you know, and it's so cool that way. But I think we could see something Sea of Thieves related. I also think there's a possibility that, you know, that we see maybe something with Rare. There's been an awful lot of Banjo-Kazooie hype or rumors and speculation, and a while back, I think they reissued some patents, I do believe, for a couple of the franchises, including Perfect Dark or some licenses and stuff. So you really never know, you know, that sort of thing. Wouldn't even be surprised if Banjo-Kazooie shows up on a Nintendo Switch as part of Smash Brothers, as maybe DLC content in the future. I don't know, right? So why can't you use prepaid cards to purchase? Man, your question is a good one, and I don't have the answer for you, Born Distracted. I suggest you reach out to Xbox support, and maybe they can help you with that one. But yeah, Crackdown, possibly something Rare related. I definitely think there is a possibility we see some sort of tease from one of the acquired studios, and something tells me it could most likely be somebody like Ninja Theory, who I suspect are probably fairly deep into their next project, and they might want to show off just a little tease, that sort of thing. I don't suspect we'll see anything Halo related. I think we can put that to bed, unless it's something to do with the TV show, which I'm doubtful on that as well. So I don't think we'll see anything Halo. Gears is a possibility. And I don't know if you guys read recently, but Rod did a great interview, and I forget who it was with. But one thing that Rod said about Gears that stood out to me was that he said Gears of War 4 was just a taste of what's to come. He said they played it pretty safe with Gears of War 4. They just wanted to prove to Microsoft and to the fans that this, you know, that they were capable of doing a legitimate Gears of War game. And I think they pulled that off quite well. There was some part in Gears of War 4 that I certainly could have been better, but overall I think Gears of War 4 was an amazing game. How many of you guys loved Gears of War 4? How many of you guys have it? How many of you have been playing it? I'd love to know in the chat. All you got to do is say just type Gears, man. I know Timidos plays Gears all the time. Lady Foxfire, she's a beast at that game. So is Primal Lead, by the way, and Timidos is good at it too. So if you ever get a chance to hook up with some people for some great Gears action, yeah, hook up with Timidos and Primal and Foxy. Bon Jovi's really good at it too. I don't know if anybody's got him on their, and I'm talking about the singer either, guys. He's a little Bon Jovi on Xbox, and he's quite good at Gears too. So you're looking for people to roll with, man, oh man, they're pretty damn good at it. I love Gears. Yeah, and I thought Gears of War was solid. The one part about Gears of War 4 that I hope they take out for the next one is the little horde segments that they threw in throughout the game. That shit's got to go. Like, it gets old. I can understand once, but I don't want to be doing that like every second or third level where, hey, we got to open a door, we got to get it open. So defend against multiple waves and put down traps and shit. Like, okay, I can understand you shooting stuff for a couple of minutes, but like, I don't want to be setting up traps and opening crates and trying to find gear. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need this game to turn into a complex RPG in the middle of a heated firefight. So get rid of that shit, man, please. Who else we got up in the chat, guys? If I haven't given you a shout out yet, please just type in the chat. Need a shout out here, Newf. I'll be certainly happy to shout you out on my podcast. I don't suspect I'm going to get 200 or 300 people here, but I'll make sure each and every one of you guys feel welcome. Just as if you were walking in my home right now, I would offer you a beer, something to drink. I'd get some snacks out and we'd fucking roll some video games. That's how Newf does it around here. So you guys, I don't consider you just people that come out to watch. You guys are my friends. Think the world of this gaming community, man. I really do. You guys are fantastic. But anyway, so that's kind of the things I think could happen for the XO. And I think a lot of people really haven't said much on it, but I highly suspect we're going to see perhaps a permanent price drop on the Xbox One S and maybe even more so the X, which would really boost sales big time. The X has been selling really well, but now it's time to just kill it this end of this generation. You know what? It's time to kill it, man. Ooh, scotch. That's a drink that'll put hair on your balls. I do like a good stiff scotch once in a while. And I said scotch, not a Scottish man. Thanks, Shizno. Appreciate it. Michael Monkey Punch Lugo's up in here. What's going on, Monkey Punch? What you punching tonight, brother? So yeah, price drop would definitely go a long ways to helping Microsoft finish very strong in this generation, that sort of thing. So let's see what happens. But anyway, that's coming up in a few days' time. I'm going to put that one to bed. You know, I'll probably be on a podcast this weekend. I got a couple of days off, which actually fall on the weekend. So I suspect I could be doing some guest appearances, all that stuff. That's right. It's time to nuke it up in here. It's time to nuke it up in here. I got to come up with a theme song for this show. You know what I mean? All right. But yeah, like I said, this podcast is going to evolve over time. This is just in its infancy. I haven't even really sat down yet to think about how I want to pursue this, but we're going to get to it. Don't worry. Yeah, I think so too, Spider-Man. Definitely. So anyway, this is one that's been sort of stirring the pot a little. Jago Coogan is in the house. He's throwing down a uppercut and a fireball this evening. What's going on, Jago? Absolutely. Gears of War is what, well, I wouldn't say it's what brought me to Xbox, but is damn well, that was the franchise that turned a corner for me with the Xbox. When that first Gears of War game came out on the 360, man, nothing blew my mind more than that game. And probably, I don't know if I've ever been as impressed with any game since the original Gears, because that's how much of a leap that game was at the time. South Korean website kind of indicated that PUBG is coming out for PS4. Apparently some leaked images as well have got out onto the internet showing a PlayStation dashboard with pictures of the PUBG game. Now, how many guys, if you've been playing PUBG, if you like PUBG and you've been playing PUBG, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't give a shit about PUBG, put a 2 in the chat. I've kind of been in the middle on this game. I don't hate it. I don't really love it. It's okay with some friends. It's good for a good shit around. So PUBG is okay. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of glad that Microsoft didn't go out and blow their wad by buying up this game and the developer, because honestly, Timothy Dixon's dropping a 2, King of Corpse dropping a 2, Michael's got a 1, Beezy's got a 2, Jago's got 2, Thibodeau's a 2, a lot of 2s in here. Born Distracted got a 69. I don't know how you managed to fuck that one up, pardon the pun. Clement with the 2 up in here. Randall Thorne is, holy shit, we got Randall Thorne, a man with $1 million, is dropping in, just drop a kaboom on my ass. I wish I could drop an achievement on your ass there, Rand. I know you like those things. I'm just teasing you, man. Glad you could be here. Yeah, I mean, PUBG, it is what it is. I mean, it's a great game to have in your portfolio, but it's not a system seller. You know what I mean? I think for a while it did help spike some sales for Microsoft, but I think as quickly as PUBG was starting to gain momentum, I think the Fortnite train came in and just steamrolled that motherfucker right on out of the room, right? So it is what it is. Now, can it redeem itself a little bit by coming to PS4? Well, you only got to remember this. It doesn't hurt for the game itself and for the developer's sake, it's probably a good thing, right? They want to salvage this game. They want to make as much money off it as they can. The question comes down to crossplay. Will that ever happen? I personally don't think so, but you never really know. But I think it's a huge deal for PlayStation 4. I think a lot of their fans, or at least a certain groups of fans, are going to love playing PUBG. So if it comes out in the next, couple of weeks, it's only a bonus for the team at Bluehole and for the PlayStation 4. I just think it's a little too late. I don't know. Like I said, I think that ship kind of has sailed. The game will probably get some sort of increase in sales, and we'll probably start to move up the ladder on the Twitch streamers. But yeah, most people are playing Red Dead Redemption 2 right now. Where's that God of War game at? That was so amazing. Nobody playing that anymore, right? One and done. Now, I'm just teasing, guys. I'm just teasing. Now, God of War is an amazing game. In all honesty, it could win the game of the year this year. And between Red Dead Redemption 2 and God of War, damn, it's the hardest time I've ever had to pick between a game because I like them both for different reasons. But God of War is just a phenomenal effort out of that studio at Sony Santa Monica, and I had a hell of a ride with that particular game. But again, Red Dead Redemption 2 is kind of like a completely different beast, and it has its own strengths, so to speak. So I don't think anybody who's playing either one of those games can go wrong this year. That sort of thing. Rand just finished Red Dead 2, and I think Rand, you put up a review on that as well, if I'm correct. So I obviously haven't checked it out yet, but hopefully get around to some of those takes. Make sure you guys check out Randall Thor's channel if you get a chance. Born Distracted, I'm sure Fortnite will be on the new iPad Pro. Yeah, you could be totally right on that. So anyway, like I said, last thoughts on PUBG. Look, it's a decent game. It's not one of its flaws. It's too bad that even after retail release, it still feels clunky, I guess you can say, compared to other shooters. And I think Call of Duty coming out with the black, with their mode as well. What the hell do you call their mode? Fuck, I can't even remember it right now. That certainly didn't help matters at all either. People jumped on that bandwagon really, really quick. Now, apparently, the Nintendo Switch is reportedly supposed to get a YouTube app on the 8th, which will be a huge boost in helping, that platform get more new fans. And for those who have Blackout, thank you, Timothy. That will be a huge thing right there to get an app like YouTube. It seems kind of minuscule to most of us who've had it on various electronics for years, but for the Nintendo Switch, it's kind of a big deal. All that stuff. Now, Cletus doesn't care what PUBG, man. It's a little too barren for him, you know what I mean? So that could be a cool little thing. If there's one thing I've said about the Switch, it's a phenomenal little portable. Some of the games I'm amazed that games like Doom and Wolfenstein even run on this thing and run relatively well if you can deal with the lower resolution and cap frame rates at a much lower pace as well. But just think of it, the fact that they're running on that portable is pretty cool, and you can take those games anywhere, right? I mean, that's the big seller when you buy a game like Skyrim on the Switch. It's really cool to be able to take a game that's massive like Skyrim and play that anywhere, But anyway, hopefully they do get YouTube. I definitely think they need Netflix. I think you guys in this US got Hulu on your Switch. Am I correct on that? Does anybody have a Switch in the chat? Because we don't get Hulu up here in Canada. At least I can't get it. So just having a little sip of coffee, guys. If I go quiet, it's probably not my mic. I'm just sucking down some Java here, trying to stay alert and ready. But yeah, so anybody who got Hulu? Hey, Primal Leave, sweetie, how you doing, girl? I appreciate you stopping in real quick. I appreciate you stopping in at all. I know you've had a rough day, but we hope that things are okay and that you heal up and get better soon. We certainly miss you on the Game Dosage podcast. And like I said, we wish you a speedy recovery and hopefully all goes well. So, guys, everybody give some love to Primal Eve. She is a phenomenal chica. And we hope that she gets back soon. So speaking of Red Dead Redemption 2, guys, what's everybody's impressions been so far? I think I know what Spider-Man. Spider-Man says the game is like the best ever, probably game of the generation. Like, has anybody who's beaten Red Dead Redemption 2? And where would you put it on your scale? Game of the year, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Is it perfect? I'd love to hear from the chat, you guys, what you think about Red Dead Redemption 2. If you haven't played it yet, I'm sure you will get to it in time. Personally, I think it's phenomenal. I'm not going to go as far as Spider-Man say it's the greatest game ever, I reserve that for some porno games or something like that. But that's just me. But yeah, it's just one of those games that has this really interesting aesthetics. It's very addicting. It's quietly addicting. You know what I mean? It's one of those games that just does things so well. But I've heard a lot of people on the internet, and I don't know if they're just trying to be trolls, but they're kind of saying how this game is boring and they can't get into it. And I guess for some people maybe it is boring, but because I think some people are so used to the studio realism of other games, or the lack thereof of realism, that this game just feels a little bit too slow for them, right? Because everything is followed by an animation, and everything is using, like, a lot of it is kind of based around real world physics to some degree. You know what I mean? You even look at how many different horse animations there are in this game, like when you run into stuff or you hit something, you know what I mean? Like how the horse will fall and tumble and all that sort of shit. You know what I mean? I'm glad that you're having fun with it, Timothy Dixon. The Indie Gamer says it's truly incredible. Jago has never beat the first Red Dead Redemption, but we know what he has been beaten, and it rhymes with Rick. I'm just kidding with you, Jago. I'm just kidding with you, brother. But glad that you could be here, and glad you are enjoying Red Dead. Shizno says he can't put down Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh man, I haven't even gotten to the whores yet, Stinking Corpse, which is weird, right? You think that's the first thing that Newf does. But I did have quite a laugh in the first part of the early part. I think it's the second chapter, and you got to go find this Lenny guy, and he's up there when you open one of the doors. The hooker is just riding this guy off into the sunset. You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty fucking funny. That sort of shit. So, I'm not going to beat Red Dead Redemption to death here, guys, because I think everybody and their damn horse has pretty much talked about this game and how good it is or how bad it is and how it performs really well. I'm still disappointed, like I said, with this lack of HDR or true HDR implementation in the game. It doesn't look that good when it's on, so it's kind of weird. The controls still kind of feel a little bit clunky. I don't even know if it's even so much as clunky, but definitely Rockstar's trademark controls, where everything is followed by an animation, so they just feel I guess a little bit sluggish, I guess is the word. Guys don't walk faster technically than they should, etc., etc. So I mean, the game is not perfect, but it is definitely quite the game, and certainly a big improvement over the first Red Dead Redemption game, which still looks fantastic today. So yeah, I think HDR will get a lot better. TVs will also get better with HDR as time goes on. Speaking of TVs, guys, keep your eyes open. If you don't have a 4K TV yet, keep your eyes open for all the big Black Friday sales coming out pretty soon. I'm hearing some really good vibes. I've heard one about, I think it's a TLC. Is it TLC or TCL? 55-inch 4K. I'm not sure if it's an OLED or an LCD, but something like 300 and something bucks, which would be phenomenal. So if you don't have an LG OLED, those are nice. If you can score one of those for cheap, go for it by all means. So let's get down to another topic. We got some fun stuff to get into in just a few minutes. But apparently a new Sony patent has leaked showing a new VR controller, which looks reminiscent of the PlayStation Move. But at the same time, it's got a few differences, and it's also, and I think it's indicated that it'd probably be a PS4. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. So where does I don't know. We've kind of talked about VR in the past, and I know this is where the community gets really separated here. Some people love VR. Some people think it's a fad. Some people think it's a never has, that sort of thing. I personally, I'm on the side that I actually love VR. But VR is not something that I've managed to play a ton of. I find it gets kind of warm and stuffy with a VR headset on your face for any long period of time. Plus, you're usually prone to kind of sitting down in a certain position. There's some drawbacks, and I'm mostly referring to the PlayStation VR as well. I can't speak for the PC side because I haven't been there. BZ says, I guess he's saying it makes him sick. Spider-Man says Sony's losing money on VR. That could be a possibility. I don't know. I don't think Sony did as well with PSVR as they had hoped they were going to do. But then again, there hasn't been a whole lot of software that's really taken VR to the next level. When the game that constantly pops up in the VR conversations when people say, you need to play this or understand it, has been Resident Evil 7. And Jago in the chat can attest to that. But I highly think that if VR does come to the next gen platforms, you know, whether it's PS5 and whatever the next Xbox is, I think it will be highly improved over where we're at right now. The technology is improving. The question is, will the price improve fast enough? Because it has to get down to a mass media price where, you know, if you're gonna go in all in on a console, it's got to be. Oh man, that would be scary if Cletus was playing VR and drinking moonshine. I don't even want to think about it. I'm pretty sure he'd be playing it with his clothes off, and yeah, and real frosted windows in the wintertime. You know, I don't know. I don't rule out that Xbox is. I think Xbox will get to VR at some point in time. I just think they've opted to leave it out for this gen. It's kind of too late now to start to unveil VR for Xbox One and Xbox One X when, you know, this ship is things are winding down on this generation, and the technology over the next year or two, well, it's already come a long way in the last two. So I suspect that Xbox will perhaps pursue that in the future. I think Xbox would have gone after VR a lot faster this generation if Sony's VR had been true fire. But Sony's VR was a little bit pricey when it started, didn't have a lot of great games, and it was a bit of a lukewarm reception. So it took a lot of people time to get into that, right? So I think if Sony had been blowing the doors off with VR, I think Xbox would have followed suit because they would have seen that there was just too much money to be left on the table. So I do think, like Jago says, we'll see the VR on the next Xbox at some point. Probably not day one, but I definitely think it's part of the infrastructure. They have it there, and the cool thing is Microsoft. Think about this, guys. They don't have to invest in VR the way Sony does because Sony is making their own headset, but Xbox already has a bunch of third-party people that are making headsets that are. You know, go hand in hand with the PC, right? Whether you got Acer, you got Oculus, you got the Vive, et cetera, right? So Microsoft only got to worry about putting out some catchy software that these things can take advantage of, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I don't want to beat that VR into the ground. Guys, VR is what it is. Some people love it, some people don't. I kind of like that. I think it was kind of cool, but it's just something that it is very hard to sit down and play for hours and hours and hours without feeling a little bit nauseated, et cetera. So yeah, it's a good phrase, Jago. Sony kind of did use the industry as a guinea pig to test those VR headsets first. You know, Z Black Rider, fun fact, Scorpio was designed specifically to be capable for VR, and I don't doubt that in the least. That sort of thing definitely has a little more horsepower, which like as I've always said, I think the PS4 Pro was essentially more of a VR pusher than sort of an upgrade in consoles. Well, guys, that's kind of that gets me through most of the topics right now. So now it's time to have a little bit of fun. It's time to get into a retro flashback, and tonight I want to flash back to 1994. So yes, we're going back to the 16-bit era here, guys, and a game that lit the industry on fire. Okay, it was Nintendo's. If I'm correct on this, I think this was Nintendo's biggest selling game on the Super Nintendo, guys. I don't know if anybody of you guys can guess what it was, but it trumped Super Mario World. Does anybody know? Can anybody guess what was one of the biggest selling games on the Super Nintendo? It stars a big fuzzy fucking ape. No, I'm not talking about me or my ex-girlfriend. I'm talking about Donkey Kong. Zelda's not fuzzy. She's not a hairy old ape. Donkey Kong Country, guys. Donkey Kong Country was absolutely massive for the Super Nintendo in 1994. And I remember getting Nintendo Power magazines with the pictures of this game, and I even remember that Nintendo sent me out this video long before digital videos were ever popular. They sent me out this little demo of the game, and it was on like a VHS tape with the Donkey Kong Country casing that, you know, looked like the trees and stuff. And I remember popping this thing into my VHS, and I hope I don't have to explain to anybody in the chat here exactly what a VHS is. But I remember popping this thing in, and I went, holy shit. Like, this is some crazy stuff. You know, that was the first time in the 16-bit era outside of my initial impressions with Altered Beast where I kind of went, Holy Toledo, what the hell? You know what I mean? Yeah, I think just about everybody in the chat has probably owned Donkey Kong Country. I never did get the sequels. I think I was pretty much done with my Super Nintendo by the time the sequels got popular. But that initial game, that very first game was fucking unbelievable. It was next level, Shizno. It was next level. And you know what the crazy part is? They launched it right alongside of Sega and their 32X, and there was nothing on the 32X that even compared. And it wasn't just the graphics. It wasn't just these pre-rendered visuals that Rare brought to the table. The soundtrack itself was amazing. Anybody, like that level when you first get on the swordfish guy, I forget the name of the swordfish, but you get on him and that tranquil music. Da-na-na, and it was just amazing, and all the little secrets and all these little hidden areas that you could find. Sometimes accidentally you fell into a hole and all of a sudden you were in a barrel, and then you were blasting off into the special room, and then you got on the friggin' ostrich and you got on the friggin' rhino. The game was like 2D side scrolling, but it was just done so well. The minecart levels, oh my god. Ghouls and Ghosts on the Genesis, Born Distracted was another phenomenal classic. And as good as that game looked on the Genesis, Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the Super Nintendo, boy, that was deadly too. So those games are fucking hard though. Man, oh man, oh man. But I love when Arthur gets hit and he ends up in his underwear. That's always funny. But yeah, the Rhino was good. The game was just solid. That game to me was a next level experience on a 16-bit console. And you know what? The cool thing is about that game, and this is a true test that the game was well done, when you can go back and play it today and you can still have almost as much fun as you had when you first tried it out. You know what I mean? I think that's phenomenal. And it still stands a bit of a test of time. I mean, sure, it looks a little more pixelated than we remember on our new HD TVs because you can get it. It is on the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. But regardless, it doesn't change the fact that that was one of Rare's finest moments in gaming. And, man, it'd be really cool to see more of those games. I don't know. I haven't tried the new one for the Switch. What do you call Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which was it's just an up-res version, I guess, of the original Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Wii U. So I don't know if anybody has that game or not, but yeah. Arthur turned into Newf. He lost his armor. Yeah, he did. Kind of like me, indeed. How we doing here, guys? 19 people hanging out watching this show. But anyways, that's kind of it for my retro flashback. I'm going to keep doing one of these each week. If you have, like I said, guys, to improve this show, it's really going to depend on you guys is to help me out and let me know what you want to see or what you want to hear. I guess it's mostly what you want to hear throughout the show over the next while as I look to try to bring a lot of content to the table, keep you guys entertained, that sort of stuff. But, yeah, so like I said, feel free to send me a DM or leave me a message on here as the things you'd like to see. If you have a great game that you'd like me to talk about that's retro old school, as long as I've owned it or played it, I'll certainly give my 2 cents worth on it. But that's where I stand. So, but anyway, that is my retro flashback. And I wish I could hum and share that music with you. Dun 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 dun. That's a pretty terrible rendition, but you know what I'm talking about. Super Nintendo, Donkey Kong Country, instant classic, history of gaming. Yes, indeed. Go back and play it. ActRaiser was a cool game back in the day, indeed as well. There was another really cool retro game on the Genesis that probably nobody ever played beside me, but it was called Last Battle. And this game was basically, in a sense, a take on Altered Beast, because you started out and you kind of did grow. Your dude got bigger as you walked left, right, and you kind of ended up kicking and punching a bunch of basic enemies. But I don't know, that game was pretty cool to me back in the day. I don't think that game would be too cool today. So now that we've gotten through that part of the show, guys, we're going to talk about some movies right now. One that I'm particularly excited about. It's coming out, I think, this weekend. There's actually 2 I'm looking forward to seeing here anytime soon. But the first one is Overlord. I don't know if anybody, you guys in the chat, have seen the trailer for Overlord. By all means, go check it out. That movie looks fucking phenomenal. It looks like, I don't even know what it looks like. It's like got Nazi zombies in it, man. So it kind of looks like a movie version of Call of Duty zombie modes to some degree, but it looks really cool on the trailers. Cyber Gunter, what's happening, bro? Did everybody get up and toss in their votes tonight down in the U.S.? I certainly hope that you at least put in your democratic right to go do so. I know Cyber was out and tossed his 2 cents in the bucket, so that's good. like I said, man, just because you're in the U.S. doesn't mean shit don't travel uphill, because a lot of stuff that happens in the U.S. definitely plays havoc and certainly weighs heavily on a lot of the things that happen in the Canadian economy here as well. So, but I don't want to turn this into a politics show. We'll leave that for other more qualified individuals or whatever. I'm not here to bore the shit out of you guys or stir the pot. Maybe a bowl of soup would be nice, but not here to stir the pot. You got up and voted this morning. That was good. Wreck-It Ralph 2. Yeah, that movie is looking pretty good. Born Distracted, but the movie Overlord, man, all I can say is go check out the trailers. It's fucking dynamite. It looks like it's going to be lots of suspense, lots of action, good special effects, and that brings me to sort of like some zombie-based themes in general. First of all, Walking Dead. Sad to see Rick go from the show, but apparently there's some big stuff in store for him. I'm pretty sure you guys have all been up on The Walking Dead over the last while. And if you're not even a Walking Dead fan, I'm sure you've heard a bunch of shit all over the internet about it all the same. So what's everybody's favorite zombie, since we're kind of talking zombies, I want to know what's your favorite zombie game and what is your favorite zombie movie? I'm going to say my favorite zombie game, okay? I'm going to have to go with, I'm going to go with the original Left 4 Dead, okay? Because I thought that game was just amazing. When that game came out, it blew my mind. First, the graphics looked good. It played fantastic. It was fast. It was different every time I played it, and I had a blast with my friends. So the original Left 4 Dead was one of the most intense freaking games I've ever played in my life. The sequel is probably even better, but the reason I'm going with the original is because the original had that wow factor. Like, holy shit, this is some next level shit on the 360, and this is amazing. And me and my friends had so much fun with Left 4 Dead. Like I said, and I hope that somebody brings that fucking franchise back one of these days. Shaun of the Dead, Timothy. Oh my God, that movie is so good, dude. Loved it. Zombieland was good as well. And in terms of my movies, I really liked, I think it was Land of the Dead. I think that was the one. John Leguizamo was in it. A few other good actors. That was pretty good. And I actually like World War Z quite a bit. I thought that movie was pretty well done with Brad Pitt. That was pretty cool. I hear there's I think they got a video game coming out based on that. Born Distracted, like Zombieland. Yeah, it was good. I mean, when they go in Bill Murray's house or whatever. Dead Island, another pretty damn good game from Spider-Man. Thumb Blast. Oh, Thumb Blast, that like button. I was thinking, is that a game? I was like, what the fuck game is Thumb Blast? Yeah, I saw you playing that, Cyber. I saw you posting up some pictures on Left 4 Dead. I thought it was really cool, man. Jago, Resident Evil, he is a legend. Resident Evil 2, probably. I suspect most of you guys are picking up Resident Evil 2, the remake or the remaster, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Coming up in, was it January month? January, I think Resident Evil comes out. Also, another big game coming out in January is Kingdom Hearts, I do believe. And I think another one in January is Ace Combat. So January is going to be a loaded effing month. Dead Snow and Nazi Zombies. I'm familiar with it, Born Distracted, but I don't think I've ever seen it. Yeah, Zombieland was funny. And I think I've heard rumors that they're doing another Zombieland movie, as a matter of fact, which wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I definitely can't wait for Resident Evil 2, the remake. I wonder if they'll put a co-op mode in it, because that would be fucking dynamite. I love playing anything with co-op, man. That's the way to roll. You get the co-op going. All right, guys. So we're rolling down. That's kind of it on the movie chat. Another movie I'm excited to see, though, is going to be Creed 2. That comes out on the 21st. Excited to go and see that. So let's get into one of our favorite segments of the show tonight, and this is where shit's going to hit the fan. So plug your nose, put on those gas masks, because it's now time to ask Cletus. So if you guys have any questions to ask Cletus, I'll try to get them as quickly as I can, that sort of thing. So Cletus is standing by. What do you got to say, Cletus?
Well, hey, fiddly diddly, Cletus, hey, how y'all doing on this lovely Tuesday evening or morning or whatever the hell it is in your neck of the woods? Probably morning for a lot of you guys that's hanging out here with us, but here I am hanging out with Newf Nukem, and some bitch that showed up at his house. She ain't got no fucking moonshine. I'm totally disappointed in his ass. So I'm out here now, and I'm just playing Super Lucky's Tales, I think, and just trying to get lucky myself. You never know what's going to happen around these neck of the woods. You guys got some questions now you want to lay on old Cletus? Now's the time to do so. All right, Cletus. Oh, man, Cletus, you back it up, man. You stink.
Armored Reaper, what is happening? Yes, the man from the UK, the Armored One. He is here. Cletus, does your what? Your teeth get hard when you see a pretty woman? What the hell is teeth? Is that like teeth? Even Cletus don't understand what you're trying to. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, I'll tell you this, Partner Stracton. I'm not exactly sure what kind of question you're trying to ask my old wrinkly ass, but I tell you, when I sees a pretty woman, I tell you, you know how I know I'm turned on? Because the vibrating in my undercarriage shakes the fucking fake teeth right out of my head. My dentures come flying out when the pretty lady's walking by, and there ain't nothing I likes better than a shed of titties, whether they high or whether they low, as long as they can jiggle, wiggle, and spoil my flow. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
28 Days Later, amazing movie. Cletus doesn't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. 28 days later, he thinks that's his girlfriend's period. What is your favorite food, Cletus?
Well, that's a fucking good one, to be quite honest with you. I can eat just about anything, but when I'm not eating pussy, there's nothing like eating a big bowl of fucking fried beans. Okay? I loves the fried beans. They're easy on the gums. They goes down hot. They don't make a stink. They don't stink up your home. But let me tell you, once they've been festering and boiling inside just like a pot of your mama's gravy, let me tell you, boy, you'll be ripping and romping. I swear to God. You know, I swear to God that sometimes baked beans, they make me fart so hard that I can make a horse carriage move about 3 feet. I'm not kidding. I can just put them out one at a time. I'm sitting on the table, it's just like... and it's just going and going and going. I vacate the fucking house. I've farted so bad at times that the goddamn smoke detectors have gone off in the place. The fire department had to show up. So it's not even get talking. But I likes the baked beans, and like I said, I likes eating pussy once in a while when it don't smell like rotten fish. But I've had a few of them lately. My God, just bring the nose plugs. Alrighty, that's a couple of questions down. And we also got a question for Cletus. I know it's not always easy to ask the man, but he's pretty open about things that he does in his life, apparently. So if you got another one, now's the time. I'll probably take 2 more, maybe. How will you celebrate N7 Day, Cletus? What in the fuck are you talking about, N70? What the hell is that? Now, back in my day, I can't even say it, but when I was growing up, N70, that sounded like something that the Ku Klux Klan would have celebrated or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know what the hell it is you talking about there, but I celebrate any kind of day. I celebrate any time I get up in the morning, my fucking eyeballs opens up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I celebrate. As long as I'm getting up, my penis is still getting up, we good. I celebrate every day, man. All righty. All right, I'll take one more from the amazing chat. Who's this for? Cletus's favorite movie. Oh, that's a good one. Well, oh boy, that's might be the toughest question you guys ever gonna throw at me here. I like lots of movies, and I don't get to watch that many movies because I can't get the view. First of all, I don't watch many movies because I can't find my ViewMaster. Okay, now I'm just kidding with you there. But second of all, I used to really like movies like the Beverly Hillbillies. I watched that one all the time. I got a little grandma. She fucking hilarious. And I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre because there's some bitch going around with faces plastered onto his face. He reminds me of some of my relatives. But you know what? He always ends up with the sexy one. But the only thing I can never figure out is why that Leatherface motherfucker, he gets these sexy ass ladies and he don't do nothing with them. He chops the motherfucker up. And I'm like, what is wrong with you, son? Like, at least you can do is stick a finger in the wet hole before you're going to kill him. Like, my God, man, you know what I'm saying? You got to make it worth your while. Cletus, will you be in Red Dead 3? You never know. I've heard there's a guy in Red Dead Redemption 2 looks like my long-lost grandpappy, but you never know. I'm sure there's guys just in that game that certainly reminds of me. A lot of them's inspired by me and the stuff that I've been doing. A lot of them stories, but that's a pretty rad-ass game, gotta say. Even got fucking 4K horse testicles up in there, and they're wiggly-wobbly just like the ones on the farm. But yeah, there you go, guys. Alrighty.
Well, that's it for Cletus's questions with Cletus, guys. Cletus got to take off again right now before he dehydrates over here. So he's going to go take a moonshine bath and wash his nuts and whiskey, I think. But yeah. So, all right, let's get back to it here, guys. Rolling down the podcast. I think next week, if I'm around next week, I'm just trying to think if I'm around. I know pretty soon I'm going to have to leave town on a work issue. So one of these weeks, but I think next week I'm probably going to end up having a guest possibly. And I'm always open to bringing new people on. If there's anybody in this community, anybody in this chat tonight who would like to come hang out with Newf, chat up some games, have a little fun, perhaps on this podcast, just let me know. Like I said, I'll be try to happy to accommodate because everybody deserves a shot. I wouldn't have been where I am in this podcasting game. It wasn't for Mooch giving me a shot at one point and having the trust and faith in me to carry a pretty good program. So, but anyway, I know it's always tough with the time zones and shit like that. I've kind of exhausted my topics tonight, but unless you guys have a question for me in particular, or you'd like to ask one of my multiple personalities, apparently I also do a pretty mean Goofy, and I'm talking about that reminds me, I got a good joke for you here. Here's a good little joke. Just remind me before I get to it. So Mickey and Minnie, they're in a courthouse. They're getting a divorce. And the judge looks at Mickey and he said, so let me get this straight, Mickey. You're divorcing Minnie because she's a little bit crazy? And Mickey says, no, Your Honor, I'm divorcing Minnie because she's fucking goofy. There you go. That's a little joke for you tonight. She's divorcing Minnie because she's fucking goofy. But I can do a pretty good Goofy impression. Want to hear it? Golly gee whiz, guys, I hope the hell that you get out there and you play some video games because they're really good. Oh, I like to play video games. I'll sit down and I'll play my Xbox and it's fucking awesome. Yeah. There's Goofy for you guys. And don't forget, Arnold is in the building. I am not exclusive to anybody's podcast. I'm always exclusive to Newf Nukem. I've got a great relationship with him, and I always come out here and kick some ass. So do it. Go now. Get in your beds. Do it. All righty. Krusty the Clown. Yeah, I guess it kind of could sound a little bit like Krusty. There's definitely similarities there. What's Arnold's favorite scene from Predator? Well, there's so many great movies and so many great scenes in Predator, right? Lots of great scenes. But, you know, I love it, first of all, when Bill Duke, he's got the big Gatling gun and he's just mowing down the forest. I love that. I'm going to get me some fun. I'm going to have me some fun. I'm going to have me some fun. And I also love it when you got Jesse Ventura. He's up in the chopper and, you know, he's telling jokes and all that stuff, and he has, you know, nothing. He says, "There's nothing but a bunch of slack-jawed faggots around here." But how can you not forget one of the best lines in the whole movie? Go now and get to the chopper. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Jago. Appreciate that, man. Sometimes my Arnold's spot on. Sometimes I get a little out of practice, and yeah, but. Yeah, man. Yeah, Bill Duke was pretty cool. Bill Duke was actually in Commando as well. He was the guy that he, what part of that movie was he in? But yeah, he was in Commando too. It was kind of funny in Arnold's early movies. He had a lot of guys. There were certain guys always made it at least like a cameo. You know what I mean? Little known fact. I don't know if you guys recall, but in the original Terminator, and this is something, and God bless his soul, to Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton was in the original Terminator. Most people don't recognize it because he was one of the punks in the opening sequence of, you know, the stand. They're all hanging out next to, I think it's a phone booth, and the guy's like, "Nice night for a walk," and he's just like, "Nice night for a walk." Right? Yeah, he was one of the punks. Pretty cool, right? And then Bill Paxton was obviously in several Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. True Lies, he was in that one, and a few other ones that he made. Yeah, Telephone Booth, right? Like, what is that anymore? You won't even recognize what those things are. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the show tonight. So always willing to take suggestions and questions and make this a little bit better. Bill Paxton was in Predator 2, Arnold was not, but Danny Glover did a pretty good job in that movie, that sort of thing. That reminds me of Danny Glover, man. Lethal Weapon movies. I love those fucking movies. Those are great. There you go. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up the show. We're hitting almost the hour mark. I don't want to be this too long. You're going to get sick of hearing from me. But we did have some good topics. I hope you had a few laughs again tonight. Make sure you share this out. We try to get some more people week in, week out. I might have to move this to another night. We'll see how things go. But in the meantime, I want to say thanks to each and everybody who came out, who did not get a shout out tonight, because if I didn't, I'm going to feel pissed off. Midway 7 months or what's happening, you didn't get a shout out, so now you do. Vertigo Tempest, what's going on, brother? Thank you for stopping in and checking out the podcast. I've been trying to keep up with everybody. Sometimes I get a little side distracted, but you guys are fantastic, man. Hope you enjoyed the impressions tonight, all that stuff. Hope you enjoyed the section with Cletus. I'm going to try to keep making this podcast better and better. And at some point in time, when I ever get a new computer, hopefully it's going to be a little flashier, all that good stuff, man. And I will catch you again soon. So until next Tuesday, you guys have a great evening. Keep it electrifying. And that's it. Don't hit the nuke buttons just yet. It's Newf Nukem signing out, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you online. Take care.